Fast family? Welcome back to Project Potter. My name is Kyle, your host. Thanks for checking out the channel, guys. This is our Fast and Furious review. Today we are doing the Fast and the Furious, not the Fast and the Furious, Fast and Furious, which is just the name of the fourth movie. And it's like, come up with a better name, dude. First movie is called The Fast and the Furious. And then for the fourth one, you just took out thes. If you haven't seen the show before, guys, we are doing recap, which is called Quarter Minute at a Time, 10-Second Car, which is the favorite actor or actress ever had me, which is the least favorite, score out of 10, and the rankings, of course. So there's an 18-wheeler on an open road. Letty and Han's in there, and I know what you're thinking. Han, didn't he die at the end of Tokyo Drift, the last movie? He did. But guess what, dude? Remember Dom said in the cameo at the end of Tokyo Drift when he showed up, he said, Lucas Black's character was like, Sean, he was like, oh, I didn't know Han was into American Muscle. And Dom was like, he was when he was rolling with me. And guess what, dude? Han's driving like a pickup truck in this one. Car heists are back, baby. She's got a hammer and she whacks it with a hammer. So she sprays the trailer hitch, hits it with a hammer, it disconnects. Don't know if that is how that works, but okay, it's the Fast and Furious, so we'll let it go. She says, liquid gold, baby. Dom is driving backwards because it wouldn't be a Fast and Furious movie without a car driving backwards at a fast speed. The Brian O'Connor school driving, baby. Dom speeds up, slams his car into the latch perfectly. It's just like, welcome to the Fast and the fucking Furious, baby. We cut to the driver realizing that there's like a big cliff coming up and the road is gonna end. Gets his iguana, and he rolls out of the driver's side, dude. And just rolls like it's nothing. Another piece of the trailer that's going crazy starts like exploding in this ball of fire, and it starts rolling towards them. He like starts spinning the tires out. She goes, Dom. He floors it, he perfectly hits it, and then like they accelerate as it like goes over, and it's like just barely they get by. Shout out to Fast and Furious for that one. There's a montage of sexy girls and sexy music because of course. Han tells Dom that the cops raided the garage. They're very interested in you. Dom says, we should move first thing in the morning. Dom says, no, it's time for you to do your own thing. Heard they're doing some crazy shit in Tokyo. It's really cool because Dom is like, no, dude, like, I'm a danger to you. You go do your own thing. They don't want you. I'm a walking target. And he's like, I don't want you to be around when the cops come looking for me. I don't know if we've ever seen him be selfish in the first movie, but I mean, this seems like a character change where he's like, he knows that trouble follows him, and so he's like, I'm gonna do my own thing. He's like, I don't want the people I love around me to get hurt or get involved. So maybe this had to do with Jesse's death in the first one too, that he doesn't want that to happen again. So really, really good character development by Dom in this movie, I think. Oh, do you think this is gonna be a low-key movie? Guess again, baby, because we got Brian O'Connor jumping out of windows in downtown Los Angeles, dude. This is a clean-cut Brian, dude. He's not wearing the polo. He doesn't have the longer hair. Like, he's not racing around. This is cop Brian, and it's a different Brian. You can see very quickly it's, like, much different than we saw in the first few movies there. Also, I noticed that the lighting is much better in this movie. This feels like a higher-budget film than the first three. It's like the most aggressive Brian O'Connor we've ever seen, where he's got the gun at him, he's yelling at him, he's like, give me a name. He's like, give me a name. He says, David Park. David Park's the guy you want. We find out here that Brian is reinstated and he's working for the FBI. We find Park and we find the bad guys. Dom chilling in Panama. Dom gets a call from Mia. Letty has been murdered. And I was like, we just saw Letty. Dom's old car is there in Mia's shop. And she's like, Letty worked on it day and night. She wouldn't let it go, even though this car is a curse, which is a cool line. Arturo Braga is our main villain. He moved more heroin than Pablo Escobar. Crash scene, because he's like, yo, take me to the crash scene of Letty's car. Dom, like, there's some meth on the ground and he picks it up and that like lets him reconstruct everything. And I'm like, yo, is this Dominic Toretto or is this Batman? Because I don't know, dude. Since when does Dom have like reconstruct the crime scene powers? Mia tells Dom, let this go before it's too late. And he goes, it's already too late. Is it weird that I think Mia looked better in the first movie? She's pissed and she says like, you tore the family apart. Dom would have been caught anyway. Brian just let him go, so. Calm down, Mia. You always think you're the good guy, but she's like, maybe you're the bad guy pretending to be the good guy. You ever think about that? And Brian actually says, every day. And it's like, oh, it's like, Mia, you feel kind of bad now, don't you? And then the window crashes and Dom is holding this dude out of the window by his shoe. So Brian tells him to bring him up and Dom says, I'll kill this guy and anyone who also gets in my way. And he actually drops him. But then the guy grabs like the ledge at the last second and Brian scrambles over and grabs him. So he saves the guy, but I was like, wow, let's go, dude. Dom was on a war path. And the difference between a cop and a criminal, Brian? He goes, one bad decision. I want all of them. And I'm like, bad boy Brian is back, baby. Another audition to find the best driver, and this would be really cool if we didn't just have this in Too Fast or Furious. Like, it is just a complete carbon copy of what they already did 2 movies ago. And I'm like, come on, dude, come up with something different. The boss man, he goes, do I look like a boss? And I'm like, what kind of question is that? There's a straightaway at the very end. Dom puts on the NOS, and Brian's sitting back, and he's like, too soon, Dom. He puts on the NOS, and he's catching up, and he's just about to pass Dom. And at the last second, Dom like hits the side of his car to fishtail him. Still a buster. And I'm like, damn, dude, Vin Diesel's so cool. So Campos tells Dom, you know, you work for Braga now. He goes, the GPS calls and you follow. Plays a character named Giselle, which I mentioned earlier. She says, okay, driver's license. And Dom goes, what driver's license? And I was like, oh, Dom, never change, my friend. Dom orders a Corona, and I'm like, let's go, dude. The ladies we've loved and the ladies we've lost. I'm one of those boys that appreciates a fine body, regardless of the make. Now that I know you're tasting cars, what about your taste in women? Well, it all starts with the eyes. 20% angel, 80% devil. The FBI is like, oh, he stopped. What's going on there? And I'm like, dude, are we doing this again? Like in Too Fast, dude. I'm like, why is the FBI clueless? Why do they not have any idea what's going on? Why do they not know that Brian's undercover? Like, it's ridiculous. It's tracking, and it's worried about the tracker and thinking they're running. I'm like, we already did this 2 movies ago. But it's just, I don't know. You see Dom very subtly take the NOS in his car and just turn it just a little bit so it starts leaking out. Dom says, I'm going to enjoy what happens next. So his car blows up. It causes the other 3 cars next to it to blow up, and causes chaos. And ends up calling the FBI. He says, yo, we have the shipment, $60 million in cocaine. Bring in the shipment and bring in Toretto. And Brian's like, what are you talking about? This is about Braga. He's like, this is an opportunity we have here. And they're like, no, this isn't about Braga anymore. They're like, bring in the shipment and bring in Toretto. And he's like, dude, if we do that, like, Braga's just going to send another shipment next week and the week after and the week after. He's like, we have to take Braga down. We got to hide this cocaine. This is true. You do have to hide that. Last place they're going to check is their own impound. I'm like, that's a really good point, dude. Brian says, you know, when you blew up your car back there, you also blew up mine. So he's like, now you owe me a 10-second car. And Dom smiles. He's like, is that right? Dom's had like 25 Coronas at this point, dude. So he's just slugging these Coronas, but they look delicious and I want one. He came to me to clear your name in exchange for the capture of Braga. Campos is Braga. This is actually a decent twist and I respect it. Mia comes home, sees him in the garage, and Brian goes to see her in the kitchen. She's like crying, and then he kisses her and they just like start fucking on the kitchen table. Dom is like, bro, I'm right here. Paul says, you must have really loved her. My heart only beats for one woman. Brian says, you know, this is where my jurisdiction ends. And Dom says, that's okay, because this is where mine begins. I was like, let's go, dude. Braga's just like talking shit this whole time, and he was like a cool character, and then he just gets really annoying in this last like act. Phoenix is like, oh, you're in my world now, and I'm like, not really, dude, it's just a tunnel. Your overconfidence is your weakness. Phoenix standing up in Dom's car, he goes at him full speed and just hits him, dude, and which should have easily split him in 2. You see Dom in a prison bus, and it's sad, but it's like, dude, you already know Brian is coming to bust his ass out. Music starts going, and it's like 3 cars, dude. It's Brian, Mia, Tej, and Malik, and they pull up just like they did in the beginning. Dom looks over, and he smirks, and it cuts to the credits, and I'm like, let's go, dude. That is how Fast 4 ends. Okay, guys, my 10-second car for this one goes to Vin, dude, as Dominic Toretto. I mean, this movie's all about him, really. It's his first movie since the first one, Fast and Furious, which is crazy. He's back in a big way. He, in some ways, was the most important cameo at the end of Tokyo Drift, and he's back, and it's like they didn't know if Vin Diesel was going to come back for the franchise or not. He turned down money. And this is where he takes over and he's like, this is my franchise, basically. And it's all about him and how his character develops. And he's the star of the show. He gets his revenge on Phoenix at the end, dude. He just shows leadership qualities. He's telling the people he loves to kind of get away from him. And in the fact that he doesn't run at the end and he goes to prison, he was just ready to atone for his actions. He's like, I'm done being a bad guy. And it's like the theme of this movie is kind of what's the difference between a good guy and a criminal? It's one bad decision. And so Vin makes the good decisions throughout the whole movie, and so it's really great. He tells Han at the beginning, he could have just rolled out with Han. He says, no, you go to Tokyo. Dom has real character growth in this movie, and I think Vin Diesel gets my 10-second car award for this one. Okay, guys, for They Never Had Me, this award started off as Never Had Me, and then I think it's just progressed. I put like a Boston accent on it, like They Never Had Me. This one goes to Jordana Brewster as Mia. I don't really know why she was in this movie, to be honest with you. The scene where she hooks up with Brian is weird because they really don't get along the whole movie, and there's no like there's no scenes of them like rekindling that chemistry. Every time they talk, she's like, "You ruined my life," and I guess he shows that Brian is like, "Yeah, I'm a liar. I'm trying to work on that." And he's like, "I am working on my code." So I guess Mia falls for that, but it's just weird. This is the first time we see her since the first movie. I just thought she took up a huge backseat to Gal Gadot's Giselle character. I didn't really think that Mia needed to be in this movie at all, and I think it totally works without her. So she's the least interesting part of this movie for me, and all due respect to Jordana Brewster, I just don't think this was her best movie. And so she gets my She Never Had Me award for this week. Okay guys, for a score for this one was tough. So there's some really cool sequences in this one. So like the tunnel scenes stick out to me. Those are amazing both times they went in there. The opening Dom scene with Letty and Vin, that was really cool. And seeing Han and Vin together, or Han and Dom I should say. But these did not make up for a lack of interesting side characters. So Braga felt a little flat, I thought. I liked the twist, but like his character is kind of ruined at the end, where he's like out of character and like going crazy and stuff at the end, and just annoying. Lady's death was super rushed. Like they were just like a call from Mia and then a quick funeral scene where there's no speeches or anything, and then like Dom's weird recreation. None of that worked for me. It was just really weird in a bad way. But the movie had a ton of potential, but it just didn't deliver. There's some strong moments, but it just didn't deliver for me. So I'm giving this a 7.9. I don't know, man. It didn't hold up for me. FBI agents were terrible too, with the exception of that girl Brian was working with. But it was just Agent Markham all over again. It was too Fast and Furious all over again. Too many parallels. And yeah, 7.9 is what I'm going to give this one. Okay, guys, that brings us to the rankings. I kind of spoiled it earlier, but this one is going to slot in at number 3 for me. So the new rankings are going to be Tokyo Drift number 1 as King. R.I.P. Han, Too Fast, Too Furious, and Fast and Furious, and then The Fast and the Furious as number 4. I just think the first 3 movies are more fun to watch. Tokyo Drift is the most fun, I think. Too Fast would surprise me, and I think I had a lot of fun with that. And then the things that they did in Fast and Furious, they did better, I think, in Too Fast, and so I like that movie better, and Carter Verone is a much better villain, and Rome is more fun than some of the side characters here, so I think it's just barely better than the original Fast and the Furious. This one slots at number 3 for me. Okay guys, that's another episode of Fast Family. Thanks for checking out Project Potter. Like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell notification, and until next time guys, salute mi familia.